So since I've been a little bit out of commission and trying to find my find something to do today because I can't be working out, I've got this little lower back injury. I thought, well, maybe it's a good time to kind of show you just a little food preparation using food prep I already have. It's really quick. Again, nothing special, stuff that I just found in the refrigerator. Again, finding stuff that I already had prepped and stuff that was just kind of sitting in my refrigerator. So I have a little bit of brown rice that I've already had prepped up from a few days ago. I've also got a little bit of roast pork tenderloin, which was easily just done in the oven, simply seasoned, nothing grandiose. And I've got a couple of raw vegetables, basic stuff, carrots, a carrot, a celery, a little bit of broccoli, and some onion. And I figured, well, looks like I can make maybe a stir fry out of this. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and really quickly do this. Good trick to peeling your carrots so that you don't have a whole lot of trouble picking up the scraps is to kind of lay down a little paper towel so that when you're done peeling carrots or peeling whatever vegetables, say you had some potatoes to peel, sweet potatoes to peel, you can all do it at the same time. And when you are done peeling, all you have to do is gather it all up, either save it for like a little vegetable stock or just toss it, whatever you want to do with it, okay? So we got that out of the way, and I'm going to go ahead and prep it. What I like to do is kind of cut it into the lengths that I want for this stir fry. I kind of want like matchsticks type size. So that's about the size I want, right? And kind of make sure that they're about the same size. Simple as that. Again, scraps can kind of go to the side. Another way to do this is if you have a little bowl, maybe a little bowl to catch all your scraps if you want. Kind of keep mounting that up. And the way I like to make the matchsticks is that you square off your carrot. Again, you could do this with potatoes, sweet potatoes, any kind of, tube vegetable. And then you cut them into really thin slices like this. Making sure you're working with a nice, sharp knife. Okay, simple as that. I'm gonna do the rest here. To the side, and notice that I flip it over down to a nice flat surface, and then just again slice really, really thin. Now you can actually do this with like, a mandolin or a little food slicer, or heck, I was looking actually for my little special peeler that will do the same trick for me, but I couldn't find it. But that's okay. That's why you try to develop some knife skills, which is what I'm showing you. So again, you have thinly sliced everything. Now all you have to do is kind of shingle them, kind of like if you're doing dominoes, just kind of shingle them like this and check it out. And then you just start from one end and you work your way down, thinly slicing. So you just kind of go down really slow. You don't have to go fast. You got to be, obviously be careful. It takes a little bit of practice, but this is what we're looking for. Little matchstick size type of a slice, okay? And you just go right down the line, okay? Always tucking in your fingertips, safety first. Tucking in your fingertips, and you may or may not be able to see it, but as we're going along, I'm kind of pushing the food with my thumb to the forefront towards the blade. And again, keeping the fingertips tucked in. Whoop. Again, sometimes you have to re-shingle, if you will, and get back at it. All right. Now I don't think I'm going to need this entire carrot because I have other vegetables that I'm going to have to account for. Again, we are following 21-day fix, so I have to measure this stuff out. I have some extra vegetables allotted to me for the day still, so in a second I will measure it all out. In the meantime, I'm just going to kind of get my raw prep to the side so I can measure that out. Next thing is broccoli. When you buy a broccoli like this, raw or whatever, if you can get them in crowns like this, it's easier to work with. What you want to do to get the florets out, I know a lot of people kind of struggle with it for some reason, but you just want to put it upside down like this and run your knife around. The florets will literally just come right off if you slice around, and then boom, you got this off. This is still edible if you choose to. You can peel this You can literally peel this and chop away, and you can actually still put that like in a salad or what have you. Most people choose not to for whatever reasons, but that's actually good food. You can actually cook this down after you peel it, cook it down, puree it, and you can put it in a soup. All right. So again, put that in your little scrap bowl. Save that for something else. Cut these into little small pieces. Because I'm doing a stir fry, I don't want my broccoli to be too big. And again, I'm not going to need all of this, so I'm just going to kind of put this to the side. This is probably a little more than I need. That's okay. Again, you save your scraps. All right. Like these little nuggets here. Celery. Cut off the ends. You could use this in soups for flavoring. If you choose, just cut off the tip here, but don't cut off the entire white area. The white area here, this fat end, really has a lot of flavor, okay? So it's a good idea to kind of keep it as best you can, kind of even that out a little bit. And you can choose to cut it any way you would like. You can dice it, you can slice it on the angle. I think I'm gonna kind of do maybe a little Chinese little slice, which is kind of cutting it on the bias. You notice the blade, how I'm doing this. Cut it on the bias in an angle, and you'll notice the funky little shapes. All right, this kind of gives it a little bit of fun factor to your food. And the thinner you do it, the more celery per se you're gonna have in the mixture. If you cut them into big chunks, you're gonna have less in your stir fry. Plus, additionally, if you cut it if you slice it thin enough, you don't have to spend a whole lot of time cooking it. Okay, you do want these vegetables to stay crisp, tender. So it's an important thing to think how you stir fry. You stir fry quickly and keep everything crisp. All right, so that's my celery right there. Boom, boom, boom. We got 3 vegetables, and of course a little bit of onion. Still together. I cut off the end to the opposite side of the root. This is the root. I want to keep the root intact. Okay, the root, the non-root. Cut that off. We do that so that we have a solid flat surface to work on. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, just for the purposes of this dish, I'm just going to cut down the middle, right down the middle of the root, so you still have it intact. Okay? You don't need both for this. Peel off, if you want, the first layer of onion. All right. And so now we have half an onion with the root still intact. Now, you don't have to get all fancy with the dicing. What I'd like to do is you can follow this here. I'm going to slice going around like on the contour of the actual shape of the onion. All right. So if you want to get this on top, follow my lead here, going around the onion in the same shape the onion is in. Okay. This is just a quick maneuver. There are many ways to cut an onion so that you can dice it, but this is one quick way that I like to do it, and it still comes off nice. So you notice they're in thin slices already, okay? So all I have to do is just go down the opposite direction, cut it into dices, and you'll see that they're now in dices. As long as you cut on the contours of it, you're gonna be good. All right, cool. So we got the vegetables prepped. Again, I don't think I'm going to need all of this onion because, again, I want to measure my vegetables out. And the vegetables all prepped up. Just going to move this to the side. Now, I've got my protein. Again, I have some pork that I had already prepped up a couple of days ago. I've already been going through it. This is all I have left of it. So I might as well take the time now to measure it out. But before I measure it, I'm going to take maybe 3 of those slices right now. Because they're already pre-sliced, I'm just going to stack them up. And what I want to do with this stir fry is to have more like strips of pork tenderloin in my stir fry. Let's see. So I'm going to cut thinly like this. Boom. And I'm going to measure that out and see if that's about the right amount that I want. Again, the rule is if it fits, then you can eat it. So I've got that much. I probably can stick another one in there. All right, that should probably be good. Like I said, I have a little extra because I haven't really eaten all my portions yet today, so I know I can afford that. But no, that fits, so that's perfect. So that's my protein. My carbs, simple to scoop out. We got the scallion rice. It is brown rice that was cooked in a little bit of chicken stock. It's just got scallions in it, salt and pepper, nothing fancy schmancy. Here's my little yellow container. I'll take it, I'll measure it out, make it all fit in there. Yep, and easy, done. Okay, you can use a spoon, but hey, chefs use their hands for everything. Okay, and so here's the vegetables. Like I have 2 of these that I can afford right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure some of it right now. But you'll take a look at the actual vegetables I have here. There's really nothing very starchy except for the carrots. So as far as celery is just really low in calories. So I'm sure I can go a little bit over. It's not a big deal. Broccoli, I can afford to have enough of it. You know, there isn't a whole lot of carbs in here, so I'm not really hindering anything. If I was using like sweet potato or a root vegetable like rutabaga or butternut squash, then it'd be a different story because that would be a little more dense in sugar and carbs. So that's not the case here. All right. So I am going to and honestly, there is another way of looking at this. And that is, you can measure after you've done the cooking, but because this is all going to be kind of mixed together in a stir fry, it's kind of a little bit harder to gauge it after the cooking process. So you notice that's what I have for onions. So I'm going to get 2, like I said, 2 of these greens. Now I'm sure because of the way I'm going to cook this, I'm going to put the onions and the celery together at the same time when I go to cook. So I might as well pack that in and measure that out. What do you know? I still have a little bit of room left. Guess what? I'm going to put the carrots at the same time. So I'll put those in there. So guess what? Between the celery, onion, and carrots, I actually can fit that all into that. That makes 1. I bet you if I do the broccoli and measure that out, I'd get my second one, so we're all good. All right? So I know I'm making a quick mess here, but that's because I'm trying to make a quick video. That's how it works. This isn't the Food Network, so... All right? Anyway, so let's get over here on the pan. I've already got it preheating a little bit. I'm going to turn it up a little bit because stir frying is kind of a quick procedure. It's a quick process. So I'm going to crank this up, and I'm going to get my oil ready. Now, I'm just going to use coconut oil today. It's a good fat. You can afford to have a few teaspoons of good fat like this. So I'm just going to use just a little bit of that as my oil base so it's non-stick so I can stir fry what I need. Okay? Cool. Now again, you want to keep everything crisp, tender when you go to cook. So the broccoli is not going to need to cook a whole lot. I also know that I'm going to be using some chicken stock in there. So when I go to put the chicken stock, that's going to help quickly steam the broccoli. All right, so that's going to be just perfect. The timing is what's perfect, or what needs to be done. Again, I'm heating this up. Let me bring over my prep. Real simple. I'm also going to use just a little bit of soy sauce. I don't always use soy sauce during 20 to 1 day fix as much. You have to be careful of the sodium content, but I'm just going to use a couple, just a little bit, like a teaspoon. It's not going to really, derail me per se, but it's really hard to have a stir fry or an Asian style stir fry without a little bit of the soy sauce in it. Again, you can choose something else if you'd like, but it's going to be chicken stock, soy sauce, and a little bit, just a tiny bit of sesame oil. This goes a long way, but it'll impart a little bit of that authentic flavor. Just a little tiny bit, not even a teaspoon, not even a half teaspoon. It's just like a couple of drops. All right, so this is heating up. All you need is just a little bit, of coconut oil. I'm putting it in there. You can see that it's already melting. You can see the actual smoking going on. This is actually perfect, right on time, because that's the point at which you want to stir fry. So I'm putting that in. Okay. Always a good idea to cook quickly. Got some tongs here. want to keep it moving. Now, ideally, I would have had some ginger and some garlic to impart even more of an authentic flavor. I just don't happen to have any right now. That's okay. We live in an imperfect world, and I'm okay with that. I'm not going to freak out about it. And as a chef, I'm definitely not going to freak out about it because I have plenty of it in my life. So it's okay not to have ginger and garlic. So anyway, it's pretty much flash frying right now. You got it going. I'm imparting some flavor in the oil, caramelizing it a little bit. Cool. Awesome. Excellent. Now, I want a little bit of the beef in there, or the pork in there, because I want to impart a little bit of that beef foundation into the actual mixture. So we're going to fry a little bit of that in there. You can already see, if you want to bring the camera in a little bit, you can already see those brown pieces right there? When I go to stick the chicken stock, that's going to pull that off the pan, and it's going to actually give you some flavor. That was the whole purpose of me putting that pork tenderloin in. So again, notice how we're working fast though. That's what stir frying is all about, fast. And I'm going to go ahead and put the broccoli in. Stir that up. And like I had said previously, it's the steam and the liquid that's going to cook the broccoli. Okay? I would say that was probably about a half a cup right there. About a half cup of low sodium or unsalted chicken stock. And so if you want to bring the camera over, you can see how the bottom, I'm going to start scraping that up, and that is going to impart flavor into the broth. Alright, I'm going to crank that up because it needs to be at full high heat. And then I've got some of that scallion brown rice, so I want to soften that back up. So I want to get it in there with that liquid so it'll soften up. And it's all coming together. The more it boils, the more it's going to evaporate. So I want to stay on top of it. The broccoli's cooking away. You can already see the vibrant green in the broccoli. That means it's cooking away. Use this as a condiment, okay? You don't want to use it as a soup. So I think I just put in maybe, not even a teaspoon, but about a teaspoon. A couple of drops. You don't need a teaspoon, not even a half a teaspoon of sesame. It's just enough to impart a little bit. Just even open it. Just impart a little bit of flavor. Boom, boom. And what I'm going to do now, see all that liquid? I'm going to reduce it so it's all gone and it's soaked in to the vegetables. Because I don't have any noodles or anything like that that's going to have to work with that. I just want that all to be soaked into that brown rice. Little added bonus, you're allowed a couple of peanuts a day, right? If you look in your 21-day fix book, I don't know how many it is, maybe 9, 10 nuts. So I'm just going to kind of guesstimate. That's okay. We got some nuts right here. Pop it in to your stir fry. And I think we are done. Quick cooking. And there you go. What we have there, again, is just a quick stir fry using the prep that I have already. The only thing I doubled up on was on the vegetables. So you can see it actually creates a lot of foods. And vegetables were what? Broccoli, carrots, celery, and onion. We're not talking incredibly dense stuff, not incredibly high in carb or sugar. So you can really fill up on, you know, what you have. The carbs coming from the brown rice was just one serving, and exactly the protein. So anyways, hope that some of these tips help you out, and